So now we've got the camera on a different angle that makes it easier to see. We're going to move the case right out of the way. And we're going to get to work on the card reader. So you'll see we got this little adapter here. It's to turn 2.5-inch drives like this into, 3.5-inch drives into 5.25-inch like your drive bay. So this little piece comes out somehow, and we're kind of going to learn together. I think you squeeze it. It looks like you squeeze it.
12 seconds later. 2 hours later. A few moments later.
The hardest part of building a computer, they say, is getting stuff out of the box. I think this would top it.
An eternity later.
This is unbelievably well engineered. There we go. You squeeze it. Now the other side. There we go. So there's these two little, oh, that's kind of hard to see, there's these two little plastic tabs on the sides here. You push them in, leaves a gaping hole. So now we've got to try and unbox this out of its plastic. And yeah, that plastic is gone. So now we've got in the box a beige faceplate for the, well, I wouldn't say older style cases, but you don't technically, well, you don't often see beige cases anymore. We've got some screws to mount it in your case. These look like standard hard drive screws. They're the coarse thread round head screws that we showed earlier. We've got the card reader itself in some more plastic that's going to go in a landfill. And we've got the software. So basically, half of this is going to go in a landfill. There's another twist tie on this cable here, which I'm going to leave on for now, just to keep the cable out of the way, but we're going to take that off later. And basically, make sure your writing is the right way. See what happens when you try to put it in the wrong way. So usually, whatever you see from the front goes in from the front. So basically, slide it in. Try to slide it in straight. This reader, or not this reader, this adapter has some little clips at the front which are making it hard to maneuver, but basically I've pushed it in from the inside and pushed it. That's generally opposite to what we do, but I'm trying to line up the screws in these holes here, so it's proving a little difficult, but they do line up. There's 3 holes on each side. We're only going to use 2 screws on each side. We're going to use the ones that came with it, because we'll need the other ones, which are a different type of screw, to put it in the case. So these screws, hold on, I'll just check. Are they the same as the... No, they're different to the hard drive ones. They've got a finer thread. They're the same as the optical drive screws. which makes sense since these go in an optical drive bay. And basically we're going to put the screws in the front and the back screw hole. We could put some in the middle, but I need a thinner screwdriver. So we'll be back in a sec with a thinner screwdriver. So we found a smaller screwdriver. I don't think this one's magnetic, so it's going to make it a tad more difficult. We're going to screw these in anyway and persevere. So all the time you'll want to check that the reader is lining up. You'll want to push it as far forward as possible because it is a little, I was going to say curved, but it's not exactly curved. It's like the edges are almost beveled. We're just screwing in this, the screws here. Like I said, we're putting one in the front and one in the back, and two on each side. And these are snug, but not too tight, like everything else we've built. And you'll see that doesn't line up perfectly, but it'll do, I suppose. There's gaps around all these edges, so I probably won't use this combo of card reader and adapter again. Now that that's done, we'll go back to our case. I'll flip this around the other way so it's easier for you to see. And in the front here, you'll want to make sure your adapter's the right way. We'll push it in like we did the optical drive, taking this lock out first. Slide it in, line it up at the front. You may see on camera there's a screw that goes in here and here. If you wanted to use the lock, you would just plop that in and twist like before. But we're not going to use the lock, we're going to persevere with the screws. We're going to put two in on each side. Being careful not to cross thread. Like is happening here. Are these the right screws? They look like the right screws. Okay, we'll try. Oh, I see we can put them up the top as well, so I'm probably going to put one up the top. Actually, no, I'll just use the holes that we used before to save work. And these are going into plastic, so you're going to have to drive them in a bit because they'll be creating the thread. Most likely. Don't quote me on that. You want to be careful not to strip them out. I'm going to do opposite sides. Being careful not to cross thread again. Snug, not too tight, but it's kind of hard to dictate with these plastic screws. Always making sure that it is flush at the front. You never want to, that could have gone better. The joys of recording without edits, guys. You see all the cross threading, all the mistakes, and everything. You get to see everything that you can critique me on in the comments. Don't grab that bit. It's all good, didn't break it off. It's meant to do that. Make sure you're not squishing any cables when you do this. And it looks like, oh no, I've got one more. No, that's not the screw I'm looking for. Am I out of screws? Oh no, there's one. I think this is my last screw that I can use. And you might have to bend something out, in or out of place, hopefully in place. You might need a third hand to do this, you never know. But if you're following this, generally, all you need is what I said. So I said I'd point out the tools that we needed. I needed a thinner screwdriver. It's just, you'll see this little bit that holds the bit got in the way, so I've got a thinner driver. And yeah, so that is the optical drive and the card reader installed. Now the case is going to go out of the way again, and we're going to bring back the CPU, probably not the dust. No. Probably not the wireless card yet, so we'll just set that on top of the case. But we're going to need the CPU, the motherboard, and the memory.